You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the July 12th, 2023 meeting of the LaPorte County Sheriff Merit Commission. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the June 12th, 2023 meeting of the LaPorte County Sheriff's Merit Board. If you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Sheriff, would you do the honors?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Just for the record, Ms. Mock is not in attendance yet, we hope. Maybe she's struggling for a parking place or something, we don't know. So, but anyway, hopefully she's safe and on her way. So
I have not heard from her this morning or anything that would suggest otherwise, but it's been a busy morning. I have not had an opportunity to check my voicemail in my office to see if there's a message there or not.
okay, I didn't hear anything either, so
Oh, here she comes.
here she comes. We'll pause here just for a moment for Ms. Mock to get in. Good morning, ma'am.
Morning, sir. Yes.
Did all the board members receive a copy of the minutes from the June meeting? Are there any questions or comments about the minutes as presented? Hearing none, to have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a motion to have a second?
Second.
Have a motion second. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Well, Sheriff, I see you've made it through the first 4 days of the illustrious LaPorte County Fair,
The 177th LaPorte County Fair,
and you're a part of it.
the oldest in the state of Indiana.
Yeah. Well,
What was that first fair like, Mr. Kimmel?
You couldn't wait.
wow.
You set yourself up with that one.
Did you think that up on your own, or did Boyd give you a cue on that?
Been texting already this morning.
Okay. Yeah, geez. Well, that's a good one, but I appreciate that. Well, with that, we'll move on to your portion of the agenda. So
We've got a busy morning, so we will. Our calls for service between May and June decreased slightly, and that's kind of, I'm going to say it's a little misleading because the actual calls types went up. We had a significant decrease in traffic stops between May and June, and that's because they were running a lot of grant enforcement during May and during the Memorial Day weekend. So that's what caused the total calls for services between the 2 months to actually drop. And you'll see in the other numbers, a lot of the other calls for services increased quite a bit. And that's just because we're getting to the summer busy season. So crash reports increased 6% from 94 to 100 for the month. Here we go. Citations decreased 19%, and that's what caused the total calls for service to decrease slightly between the 2 months. Disabled vehicles decreased as well, decreased. Car deers increased. Once again, all three shifts saw a significant increase in their total calls for services. 15% for the day shift, 15% for afternoons, and 29% for midnights. That's not a surprise. During the summertime, the midnight shift does become one of the busiest shifts throughout the summer. We get into the winter months, and it's the exact opposite. It's the quietest shift of all three. So year to date, this is pretty interesting. Is that year to date we've seen a 20% increase of total calls for service. 14,776 for the first 6 months of this year, compared to the same time frame of last year of 12,000 297. So that's a pretty significant increase. It's going to be a busy year for the men and women out there. Our three recent hires who are at the Academy, Patrick Guido, Sawyer LaFoon, Xavier Biggerstaff, continue their ILEA training, which began May 1st. They are all doing exceptionally well down there, and they are projected to graduate on August 18th. So that's right around the corner, and that time down there that they've been down there is really going by fast. So I want to touch on the hiring process. We are interviewing two individuals this morning for our two remaining spots that we need to fill. One of the gentlemen is sitting here as he just finished up his first interview. They both passed the background investigations and are two what I'm going to call good-looking candidates. I'm excited to see how this turns out today. Once we get these two individuals, these two positions filled, we'll be fully staffed. So that's exciting as well because we haven't been fully staffed in quite some time. We're probably in several years. So former Chief Deputy and current civil process server Jim Szynski has announced his retirement after 41 years of service to the Sheriff's Office. His last day with us will be August 4th, and we wish him the best in his retirement. 41 years is a long time to be in this field. On Wednesday, June 28th, Captain Smythe and myself met with other representatives for a planning session for the upcoming Great Lakes Grand Prix to be held the first weekend in August. As we all know, this event draws in well over 150,000 people into LaPorte County for that weekend. So there's a lot of planning and preparation that goes on for that event up there at the lakefront. Red Wine and Brew took place on June 30th, July 1st, and July 2nd. We had 11 deputies work the event and logged in well over 100 hours that were all volunteer hours to go toward Red Wine and Brew. So I want to thank all those deputies who volunteered their holiday weekend to make sure that event went off without any major issues. As we were talking just a few minutes ago, the 177th LaPorte County Fair is currently taking place, which began on Saturday, July 9th and goes through this coming Saturday, July 15th. So far, it's been only reported that there's been one minor issue on Sunday evening. Other than that, it's been a very quiet fair. We were talking about tonight with Lainey Wilson coming in that it's going to be a busy night, and the concern is just thunderstorms that they're calling for this afternoon and evening hours. So when it's all said and done, deputies will have worked well over 700 hours for this week out at the fair. So it's manpower intensive, and we do have a lot of gentlemen out there, men and women out there working to make sure everybody stays safe, to have a good time and to enjoy themselves. On Friday, July 7th, I, along with other representatives from the emergency services, met with representatives from the construction company hired to build the new Westville prison. It is begin to set construction on sometime in August. This is a $1.2 billion project and is expected to take approximately 4 years to complete. We were talking with the project manager. They are expecting to have approximately 600 employees on site every day throughout this process, 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 12 hours a day. Some of the stats that they were sharing with us with this is they expect anywhere from 40 to 60 semis to be coming in and out of there at any given time throughout the day. And part of the initial project is obviously going to be site clearing, but the underground utility work and everything, they're expecting to lay 13 miles of pipe underground for this project. That just shows you the scope and the enormity of this project that's going up in the Westville area. So a lot to take in with that, and the guys that we met with, they seem to be very community oriented and very conscious of the disruption that's going to go on in the Westville area. Not only the Westville area, but LaPorte County as a whole, with all this additional traffic coming in and out of there. So we don't have any letters of commendation this month. As a reminder, next month's meeting is Wednesday, August 9th at 9 a.m. and we will have a pension board following that one. I've already been in touch with Robin and she's starting to prepare the agenda and the notes for that. So in typical sheriff's fashion, that's all I've got for you this month.
Almost a record.
Almost a record today.
Thank you, sir. Tipping back to the Westville project, did they give any indication on the duration of the construction, how long it's going to take them from start to finish?
Approximately 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah, 4 years of construction.
There's going to be a lot of bodies in the county then.
Yeah.
I mean, construction people.
Construction people, absolutely. It won't affect the current operations there at Westville, so it's not like they've got to cut fencing down or, you know, have a chance of some type of security risk or escape risk. This new facility is actually being built on the outside wall, just south of the prison, with the current prison now. So the current facility will continue to run with normal operations while they build this new facility. And when they get it done, then they will transfer the inmates over into the new facility. Then they can, I would imagine they're going to demolition the old existing facility. Yep.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Are there any comments from the floor?
Andy Heineck, Chief of Detectives. I wanted to make the board aware of a life-saving award that I talked to the sheriff about the other day. I won't be here for August meeting, but I intend to write it up for our yearly banquet. So on July 1st, Saturday, July 1st, in the evening hours, late in the nighttime, I was at the marina where I stay most of the summer. Detective Jim Fish works security there. I had gotten paged through our 911 pager system that an individual about midnight had fallen into the water at the 800 dock. And was unresponsive. So I started that way, grabbed a fireman buddy of mine that is down there, and I called Jim, who happened to be on the 800 dock to the other end. So Jim went running down there, and by the time I got there, a off-duty lifeguard her dad has a boat down there, and Jim were giving this individual CPR. Transport him to the hospital, and the next day he succumbed to his injuries. Or succumb to what was probably some kind of a heart issue or something along those lines. But nonetheless, Detective Fish and that lifeguard giving him CPR, if nothing else, gave him another 14 hours with his family so people could come into town. And I just think that the board needs to know of that incident. And again, another example of our guys, even when they're not on duty for the sheriff's department, working a side job. Jim is a phenomenal detective, works really good during the day, but here he is in the middle of the night doing something really good for one of our local citizens. So I just want to share that the sheriff had gotten a phone call from another individual. From the Port Authority board president, I made the same statement on Monday night at the Port Authority board meeting, so they were aware of it, both for Jim and that lifeguard. But thank you.
Thank you. Another example of someone going beyond the expected. So I hope we get a report on that as well. Mr. Heineck, if you would, please. Any other comments from the floor? Nothing to say?
Nothing to say, no.
We'll expect you to be better prepared in September. Is that fair enough?
Fair enough.
Okay.
Respect that.
Thank you. No other comments from the floor? Comments from the board? Jim? Ms. Mott? Jim? Laura? Wow. I don't have anything either for a shocker. Yeah, how about that, huh? But we are proceeding following this meeting to, as the sheriff alluded to, get some individuals hopefully hired to fill those 2 vacancies and they can get off to the academy and get the department up to full strength. So I want to thank everyone and may I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Motion seconded. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Meeting adjourned 9:15 a.m. Thank you.